Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome if you are new. This is going to be, and I wasn't sure what I was even going to be reading about until like a minute ago. I just decided to let it come in. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a reading for um, tomorrow's energy, the new moon solar eclipse. And I did talk a little bit about this when I did the Mercury enters Pisces reading last week, but um, I feel like even since I've just recorded those a few days ago, the energy has shifted quite a bit, and we're now like really in this energy. So I think now is a good time to do a reading for it. So we have the it's a partial solar eclipse happening at 9 degrees 0 minutes. What? No. 9 in itself is a really magical number. And being that it's at the 0 minute mark, I feel like that is another big indicator of another new beginning. Right? We're starting at 0 minutes, 9 degrees 0 minutes. So that's significant as well, and that just really adds to this energy. Again, we're in the new moon in Aries. Aries is the first zodiac wheel, the first zodiac sign of the wheel. It's the beginning point. All right, and we also have this solar eclipse happening. So Aries is pioneering energy. It is courageous and enthusiastic and confident. Some of the shadows, though, you can kind of act a fool a little bit. You can end up impulsive. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about this Neptune and Aries. Neptune also going into Aries, right? So lots of Aries energies happening and are still happening, meaning we're wrapping up lots of chapters in all these different planets that are moving into or transits that are moving into Aries, including this Neptune, which only happens like once every 164 65 years, something like that. So this is the first time that Neptune will have gone into Pisces in like the past 165 years. So, and that's a big planet. It's an outmost planet, so it affects us collectively, right? So there's bigger cycles, and then there's littler. The moon is closest to us, so or closer to us than Neptune, so that it changes more frequently. So, this is considered like a smaller cycle, but it's also more personal. And the moon is about our inner being. And the solar eclipse means that the sun is also involved. And the sun is our outer being. Right? And so here, when we have a solar eclipse, there's a shadow that goes over the sun. It creates this shadow. And so what do you think, if we're thinking metaphorically, that opens up areas where we're going to be looking deeply at ourselves. We're looking at our shadows and the darkness that we hold. Right? Things are coming to light as we evolve and step deeper into who we're becoming. So this happens at 6:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'd be like 5:58 a.m. Central Standard Time, and you have to adjust for your periods or for wherever you're at. But this to me feels like very significant energy. We're gonna pull some cards here. Just remember, it's a really powerful time to reinvent yourself. All right, to and looking at these shadows, it is a powerful move because you're willing and open to discover more about yourself and why you might react a certain way, or maybe you choose to respond a certain way instead, or we realize where we're holding tension and anger, or where perhaps we need to find forgiveness. We're discovering more about ourselves. And this is a powerful time to set new intentions on that person who you want to become. Okay, and I always talk about it because it's really important, but I always talk about how it's important to actually like physically take a pen and paper and write these things down. It's kind of like making a grocery list for the universe, right? And it's also helping you to introspect on it and to visualize it and get a sense of it, and therefore magnetize it to you. A really magical number here, working with the number 9 at 0 degrees. It just feels like a very powerful time to be alive, honestly. Alive and conscious, I should say. Yeah, so this Neptune, I just want to touch on this real briefly, and then we're going to pull some cards. But the following day, on Sunday, after this new moon solar eclipse in Aries, we have Neptune moving into Aries for the first time in 165 years. And this is energy that it is unapologetic. You're stepping into, many of us are stepping into their divinity, and realizing, remembering who they are, and taking off. We've been dropping the shells, dropping the masks, the subconscious beliefs and patterns, and many of us are arriving to this time where we recognize who we are. And so you're gonna start seeing a lot more authenticity through the collective, as more and more that imposter syndrome begins to drop and fall away. It also could bring about an impulsiveness. There is ego that needs to be balanced here. Okay, we're balancing ego and power. All right, it's also a very creative energy. It's an energy where you're going to, you could probably feel really determined. There is ideas and genius and gifts that are beginning to really flow. Okay, and in this energy, just keep in mind that every idea can seem like a stroke of genius, and maybe that's because it is, or maybe we're a little full of ourselves and we need to check ourselves. But this energy is really going to help us to connect with the spiritual self collectively. Just keep in mind the negative qualities of Aries can be impatient, they can be impulsive, there can be like daredevil energy. You can act kind of like a fool. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, we're gonna go with the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. Let me get this out of here. I just want to see what comes up when we tap into this new moon, which, by the way, you guys, just a reminder, new moons are good for setting new intentions, all right? Creating new goals, looking at perhaps, old business plans, and seeing if you can't revamp them, looking at where you're at now and what you need to do to move forward and how you can improve. Tapping in. Are you kidding me? The Merkaba came out again, you guys. Oh, I am blown away right now. If you watched the live earlier, you saw that this was the card that came out. So I guess there's more to talk about. Let's get another one as well. We've got empowerment. I feel like we're going to take a couple. We've got change. I hate that the ring light is like glaring on them though. They're too shiny. And let's get one more for stability. Separate. Coherence. Oh, no, it's too dark. There we go. What if we go like this? All right. So we got the Merkaba. This is like the seat of the soul. This is like the vessel that holds the soul, basically. We got consciousness on the bottom, you guys. So we got consciousness, Merkaba, empowerment, coherence, and change. So the frequency of the Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to transverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our highest purpose. And this is literally what we're talking about with setting new intentions. This is saying that you can transverse other dimensions. You can magnetize to you. You can tap into the Akashic records, however you say it, and pull from these records. You can pull, and this is just an idea for manifestation, but I think it's a pretty powerful one. When you realize and remember that this is all you, right? These are all of your memories. And this gift is coming in that is allowing us to pull from these records whatever experiences, whatever ideas, whatever information, whatever characteristics that we want to bring into this lifetime. We can pull from the Merkaba. All right, so I would invite you, if this interests you, to go into meditation and to visualize, imagine, or get a sense of this figure, the two pyramids intertwined. And the way I was shown intuitively was to picture the top half of the triangle pointing up over your head and around your body. And then you can start visualizing this triangle moving clockwise around your body. So the top is over your head. And it is spinning clockwise, surrounding the top half of your body. And then picture the bottom triangle across the bottom half of your body. Spin it counterclockwise. And I would invite you to go into meditation and do this and drop into this energy. Sorry about my cat, you guys. She's freaking in heat again, driving me absolutely bonkers. My poor baby. But yeah, spin the top half clockwise, bottom half counterclockwise. And just visualize this energy. And then you can start, hold on, I gotta take her out of here. Hold on. Yeah, go. Get. Then you can start pulling in, you guys, lifetimes or characteristics or, from the Akashic records. And there's a couple ways that you can go about doing this. You can do it from your own consciousness. You can pull the ideas, or you might want to play around with it and see what ideas spirit brings you. right? You could ask for certain records to come up. You could ask for your greatest, highest path to come up, and you could ask for ideas or templates and just see what happens. I invite you to play with it. Stop it. This cat is freaking crazy, y'all. Next we have empowerment, number 26. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we're all connected through the same source. And what this is saying by we're all connected through the same source, what does that mean? Right? It's you with you. It's oneness. We're all connected. We are one. Just different experiences, different timelines, different periods, different ideas, all having this experience. And there's an empowerment in understanding that we're one and that we're connected to the same source. So the frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up freely and completely, and also unites us with others. And that's been another message that's been coming through, is that we're also, being called to be of service and to unite with the collective, and to unite with other like-minded individuals that are also awakening and having these experiences. Anybody on the spiritual path that's actually on the spiritual path is having inner experience. That's why we're so passionate about this shit. Because there's a knowingness. There's revelation. There's understanding that is shown through tapping into higher consciousness, through tapping into surrender, to nothingness, to source energy. We got coherence, number 13, which breaks down to a 4. 4s create stability, foundation. And the frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. How coherent is your energy? Are you vibrating at coherence, or are you vibrating at dysfunction? Or what's the opposite of coherence? Be like glitchy, be like subconscious, unconscious. Not coherent, it would be all over, disorganized. We got number 12, the divine number 12, which is seen throughout all of our spiritual nature and through time itself, the months in a year, the hours in a day, the apostles, the zodiacs, it just goes on and on and on. 12 is a very divine number, and this just feels like very divine energy. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the ever-changing nature of reality. And our nature of reality has changed a lot. Right? Especially in the past, for me, well, since about 2012, which was, by the way, stated in prophecy with the Maya, as they misconstrued it as the end of the world, but it was the end of a world. It was the end of the old world as we knew it. It was the end of the age of darkness. Kali Yuga is ending now, and we are coming back into remembrance. And there's many of us that are having these inner experiences and literally learning to upgrade our DNA, literally learning to step into coherence with spirit, with our divine nature, empower ourselves through number 17, which breaks down to an 8. 8 is the connection of all things. If you lay an 8 on its side, it's the infinity symbol. And this is what it's all about, is these new layers of consciousness, spiritual layers, this awakening. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all of the multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them in our reality. And right now, if you have been paying attention, Spirit has been coming in this very multi-dimensional way. And I see it like a tap on the shoulder to old souls. And this invitation to evolve is really what it feels like. So that's what this feels like to me. This feels like an opportunity to evolve. In fact, I think that's what we'll name it. Let's get an archetype out here. What are we at? 21. I just don't even want to end. I just feel like there's so much that wants to come through. Thanatos. I'm gonna have to look that one up. It looks like, are you weaving a web? What web are you weaving? It also looks like there is support here. Yeah, this feels like support from spirit, from your ancestors. We got the shapeshifter. Literally, that's what we're doing, right? Because we're literally pulling from the Akashic records, however you say it, and pulling in new timelines. That's what this invitation is all about. Pulling in new timelines through your Merkaba, the vessel of your soul, to serve your highest purpose. Some of you guys may feel like it's time to step into service. For the evolution of the planet, for the survival of our planet, even. Interesting. This energy has also been coming up a lot. So many are healing the abandonment wound at this time. Healing the rejection wound as well. There is been this invitation for deep inner child healing taking place, like specifically very strongly the past like month. And there's something that is blooming here. There's wisdom that is coming in for the collective and literally helping us to change. 5 represents change, transformation. What did I do? Oh, there it is. I gotta look this one up because I don't play with this deck very much. I know it's in the end. Let's see, what number is that? LXX. I think I'm right here by it somewhere. XX. All right, here it is. It's Thanatos. It says it's tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as transformation. But the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot easily be assimilated or contained. Death is an ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps us under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. It leaves a mark of ash upon our heart, signifying we have touched the cusp of the underworld and will return to the land of the living eventually, with more compassion and wisdom to share. This capacity is needed in our world. One who has faced the annihilation of Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies an initiation into the underworld. And listen, this makes a lot of sense. The death, we are ending these cycles, you guys. Remember, we're starting a whole new cycle with Aries, right? And what has to happen in order to start a new cycle? There has to be something that you end, something that you wrap up, something that you leave behind. And it says when in its light aspect, its energy of grieving, mourning, bearing witness to all that is, becoming conscious, being the observer. When in its dark, when in its shadow, it's fear or insensitivity, perhaps to old age, to illness. It's the dying. So some of you guys could be learning how to cope with death, literally. Some of you guys could be actually like learning about death, about the death process. You could be dealing with like losing loved ones at this time. And you're meant to go deeper into this. You're meant to understand, to use your consciousness and tap into this energy and figure out what it actually means. Ask for revelation. Ask for understanding. Ask and you shall receive. It says, facing Thanatos, aka death, leads us to Athea, truth. What did I just say? Ask and you will be shown the truth. The truth will present itself. And you will know it by the coherence. Okay? You will know the truth by the coherence that it leaves. Not truth. Untruths are not coherent. Right? They form in funny patterns. It feels wrong. It feels off. We also got the heart out here. I think many of us are also going through tribulations of the heart space, and I think it's all connected, right? We're going through the dark night of the soul's journey, right? We are learning how to love ourselves again and how to love others as well. And many have been operating on such subconscious programs for so long and just now realizing or caring to look at, to discern, to acknowledge the patterns. The heart is the home. It's the center. It's the throne. It says it is possible from an imaginal point of view to sense the heart as a place. Either we're there within the realm of expansion and compassion, or we have drifted somewhere else. There is no in between. It's common for us to leave this archetypal center without realizing it. as the world, with its seductive traits and turns, offer us frequent departure. We may even become a stranger to the landscape of the heart, leaving it vacant for large stretches of time. The seat of the heart is often reclaimed by nature or music, dance, and the presence of children or animals. So this card encourages us to move past the layers of life's tangles and knots and enter the wild and sacred center of the self. The most precious throne in the galaxy is awaiting your return. It says, recall the last time your heart was touched. If it's been a long time, then you've got to reconnect. But anyway, recall that last time your heart was truly touched and soak in every detail that you can and feel the heart awaken. I'm also getting the message that you can, or the reminder, I should say, that you can communicate with your guides, with your angels, with your higher self, with spirit, God, whatever it is that you want to call it. And ask them to fill your presence. Ask them to fill your heart. It says, some say there's a cave in the center of the heart. Others say it's a pool with a flowering white lotus. Imagine yourself there and draw what you see. When in its light aspect, this is expansive, it's knowingness, it's gentle clarity. And when in its dark, it's fraught, it's tangled, it's betrayal. What?
Can you accept what they are?
Not right now. You're going to have to wait. I'm almost done. We got nectar. And we have the shapeshifter. It trips me out that the shapeshifter is out here because that's literally what we're doing, right? We're literally calling in through our Merkaba these characteristics, these traits, this new image of self that we want to become. The nectar, it says it's the medicine, the elixir, the garden. In Hindu mythology, there's a miraculous substance known as amrit, or nectar, that contains infinite healing power. The golden nectar, or sacred elixir, is the drink of immortality, and like its sister substance, soma, is known to activate subtle intelligent forces that ease the mind, body, and spirit. Though esoteric, these images lead us to the central energy of this archetype, the sweet, potent, heavenly essence that lubricates our spirit back to life. The nectar card calls us to identify and relish in places, practices, people, and activities that regenerate and heal. Medicine is needed, and it comes in subtle form that you may be overlooking. Seek the most sensuous, fragrant flower in the garden that you have forgotten. Don't underestimate this remedy. It is said when someone has activated this substance within, it is reflected in their shimmering eyes. When in its light aspect, this energy is glowing and relaxed. It's a subtle illumination. When in its dark or shadow, it's fixation on fixing yourself. It's an aggressive approach to healing. Okay? Healing resides in the relaxed, calm place of surrender. It says the nectar, the mystic, and ethereal cards are linked. It is the mystic who, like Krishna, turns poison into nectar, and is truth that can often serve as a potent elixir for healing. And that's what we were talking about when we were talking about truth and coherence. and empowerment. And then lastly, we have the shapeshifter. What number is that? 15. I wish they would have numbered these better. These, damn. I think it's this one. There we go. The shapeshifter has a love of theater. It says the trickster, the elusive, the formless. The shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is the side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. When the shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine that you're looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focused lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you had imagined. Be wary, though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. So this also speaks to the masks that we are releasing, the mental games that we play with ourselves, the trickery that we might play with ourselves or with the universe, the ways we manipulate and, talk around things, or leave things out, or the shapeshifter is related to the mask. So, and I think the mask came out earlier in some way or form, some shape. Said if these cards come up together in one reading, well, they didn't come up in the same reading, but the same day, you're in the realm of heavy theater illusion. Possibly there could be some deception you need to look at. The ultimate shapeshifter works undercover in service of the greater good. The diminished shapeshifter becomes a people pleaser. So I just feel like this energy is helping us to recognize where we're at, where we want to go. It's also helping us to let go of some of these old ways of being that aren't working, that aren't helpful, that aren't resonating, including a lot of the subconscious patterns that we're recognizing. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I hope you have a beautiful new moon, solar eclipse. Make sure that you're taking time for meditation, you guys. Taking time to connect with your intentions and your new goals and what it is. It's a really powerful time you don't want to sleep on, even if it's just writing down some intentions. Maybe you want to create some kind of ritual where, you go a little bigger with it, because these are really big energies. We've been closing out a lot of Pisces, and I just feel like it's a powerful opportunity to work your magic and to step into your power and your goals. You can use this energy to manifest in powerful ways. It's, again, 9 degrees. It doesn't get more magical than that. Thank you guys for liking and sharing and commenting. I love hearing from you guys. Let me know you're here. I appreciate you guys sharing the video, all the things. Make sure you are subscribed. Tap that notification bell if you want to be notified of upcoming videos. Love you guys.